Like the McDonald's family-sized pepperoni pizza, smothered in cheese and pepperoni for only $5.99 or 2 for $10.
Number 10. iPod Classic. We love the world of streaming services. The ability to have millions of songs at our fingertips has been a game changer. There's no doubt about it. However, for those of us who spent years building up our own music collection via CDs, iTunes, and Napster, being able to have that at our fingertips as well is something we miss.
What really made the iPod so successful, and it really boils down to one thing, was that it was very easy to use.
The iPod did one thing, and it did it really well.
And something that the iPod Classic provided before being discontinued back in 2014. Sure, all the songs are still out there ready to stream, but the OG MP3 players, particularly the iconic iPod Classic, put your personal music collection in your pocket in a way Spotify doesn't.
But these are wonderful, beautiful objects to have in our lives that, while small, make our lives just a little bit better, and they feel more permanent and lasting. They offer a whole different level of experience than just having everything on your phone or tablet.
Number 9. Sewing kits. According to a 2016 article in the Daily Mail, the fashion industry is purposely making cheaper quality clothes so that we have to buy more.
But they also have to keep prices low enough for consumers to keep buying. So they may start swapping materials, like cotton or silk, for a cheaper synthetic material. Or rely on a more basic stitching pattern that maybe just doesn't hold as well.
Or maybe we can all just buy a sewing kit. Remember back in the day when you get a hole in your jeans or a rip in your shirt and your grandma would break out her sewing kit and fix it right up?
The great thing about sewing is it's really easy to get started. You don't need a whole lot of things just to get going, and the skills to make a simple garment are pretty minimal.
Who says we can't do that today? Sure, besides purchasing the sewing kit, it'll also involve learning how to sew, but we aren't talking major clothing renovations here. Simple fixes and repairs aren't that difficult, and we all spend so much time on YouTube anyway. A quick search will get you a tutorial video in no time.
There's actually so much to enjoy before you get to the whole sewing machine and I have an ironing board and over there is my body form. No, you can start with the really basic stuff and still enjoy sewing.
Number 8. Traditional alarm clocks. Yes, our smartphones have an alarm function.
The iPhone's default alarm sound is called radar, and it sounds like this. Now, if that didn't send shivers down your spine, then you're probably not an iPhone user.
But in order for them to be effective, they have to have enough charge to make it to the morning, and regularly leaving them plugged in all night can reduce the life of the battery. There's also some evidence to suggest that keeping your phone out of the bedroom can help you have a better night's sleep. What about an alarm clock?
Good morning, world!
It doesn't have to charge, and it won't tempt you to scroll through Instagram or get dragged into a TikTok rabbit hole in the middle of the night. All it does is wake you up, and it adds a nice retro design element to your bedside table in the process. Win-win.
Ever since I got one of these, I now have the physical alarm clock on my bedside table, which means I can have the phone across the room away from my bed.
Number 7. Erector sets. In Aqua's 90s hit song Barbie Girl, Barbie sings,
Life in plastic, it's fantastic.
Well, as we all know, plastic isn't necessarily as fantastic as we once thought, and living in a world where the toy landscape is filled with plastic makes us pine for the days when metal ruled. Okay, maybe not ruled, but at least had a prominent seat at the table.
Drives an erector printing press. Radar warns of enemy attack.
Of course, we're talking about the Erector set, which up until 1962 even came in a steel box. The company has been bought and sold a few times over the decades, and while it does still technically exist these days as Erector by Meccano, the new sets just don't match the quality of the classic Erector set. Number 6. Clothes and washing lines. It might sound so old-fashioned and antiquated, and maybe it is, but drying your clothes on a clothesline is a great idea that deserves to make a comeback. If only for environmental and economic reasons, avoiding your dryer as much as possible obviously uses less energy and, based on household averages, can save you upwards of $150 a year. It also avoids those embarrassing shrinking shirt mistakes we've all been guilty of at least a few times. If you've ever tried hang drying your clothes outside in the fresh air, you also know how good they smell afterwards.
She's not thinking about how much better it is for the environment. She's just putting the clothes out in the sun.
And for those who don't have any outdoor space or live in a city without a lot of fresh air, there are great indoor options available. Number 5. McDonald's Pizza. Going to McDonald's but don't feel like a hamburger? Well, for a brief time in the 1980s and 90s, at a few locations, you could get pizza instead.
Like the McDonald's family-sized pepperoni pizza, smothered in cheese and pepperoni for only $5.99 or 2 for $10.
Sure, it was a little expensive and took 10 minutes to prepare, but it was pizza at McDonald's. Pretty cool, right? Well, guess what? While we don't know if they'll ever bring it back, there were 2 McDonald's locations, Pomeroy, Ohio, and Spencer, West Virginia, still serving McPizza up until 2017. Now, Orlando, Florida is the only place to get it.
However, we have some Canadian bacon, we have the sausage, we have the grilled chicken, and we have the pepperoni.
Unfortunately, there are no Burger King locations that still serve ribs. In 2010, the chain introduced ribs for a limited time.
Take a little nibble. They're fire grilled. Whoa. So if you can fly, then why are you driving?
They sold so well, the time ended up being more limited than planned. Number 4. Candy Bowl. Picture your grandparents' house. Now picture the coffee table in the living room. If you're like many of us, that picture isn't complete without a crystal or blown glass bowl sitting on said coffee table, filled with candy.
It is a candy dish, Ned. $90.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess you could put a lot of nice things in there.
No, just candy, Ned. $90.
We loved it as a kid, and we still love candy today. So why not bring back the bowl of candy as a thing? Not just for grandmas anymore. And while we're at it, could Hershey's please bring back their Kissables for us to put in these bowls? For those who don't remember, Hershey's Kissables were Hershey's Kisses covered in a candy coating.
Hearable, bearable, friendable, shareable, spinnable, cideable, dayable, nightable, colorful candy shell, colorful candy shell, chocolate inside. Kissables, Hershey's chocolate.
Basically, a Hershey's Kiss M&M. Sounds delicious, doesn't it? Number 3. VW Type 2. The Volkswagen Type 2, aka the microbus, or as Kelso called it on that 70s show,
place to do it with Jackie.
But besides the space for doing it, these VWs are an iconic design that still resonates with fans of a mid-century aesthetic. There have been so many copycats over the years, but none that can match the true retro appeal of the VW Type 2.
Right here we have a 1966. This started off as a pistachio green. We decided that it needed an upgrade.
Unfortunately, they ended production in 2013. However, they are potentially about to make a comeback with an electric version, the Volkswagen ID. Buzz already available in Europe and coming to the US in 2024.
This is the VW ID Buzz. It's a brilliant new electric car, and it is, we think, the best new car that's been launched in the last 12 months.
Number 2. Typewriters. With the proliferation of personal computers and word processing software, typewriters were slowly pushed aside.
This is an interesting machine. There's no shift key, so you had your lowercase keys, you had your uppercase keys. And this machine also was an upstrike. The print actually hit underneath, so as you were typing, you had to know what you were doing.
You couldn't see it.
You could not see what you were typing as you were typing on this machine.
Idea.
But there are reasons they should make a comeback. Reasons beyond pure nostalgia and hipster retro design appeal, and those reasons could be different for different people. For playwright Sam Shepard, the tactile nature of the typewriter is important to the process.
I just never got along with the computer screen. It's somehow removed from the tactile experience. You know? When you go to ride a horse, you have to saddle it. When you use a typewriter, you have to feed it paper. There's a percussion about it.
For John Mayer, it was the simple paper and words, without the distractions of spell check and other processing tools, that allowed him to actually better process his thoughts. And Tom Hanks loves typewriters.
It's the sound of typing, it's the cadence of creativity, it's the percussion of punctuation. That sound, you'll get lost in it. It becomes a rhythm, it becomes a music.
So, do we really need another reason? Number 1, video stores. We all love the Maxes, the Pluses, and the Flixes, but we miss video stores. If you know what you want to watch, a streaming service is great. But for pure film discovery and appreciation, there might be nothing better than walking up and down those video store aisles.
How about this one? Get it? I'm sure it sucks.
All these movies suck.
From new releases and blockbusters to foreign films and must-see independents, video stores had them all in the same place.
The professor said he was taking a brief nap, so we only have time for 6 movies.
Let's take these 6 Jim Carrey movies and record over them.
These days, not only do you have an idea of what you're looking for, you also might have to click through 3, 4, or more services to find it. And depending on the employees, the staff picks section was better than any algorithm.
This Vincent guy, he is the best. He and I have the exact same taste in movies.
Oh, Vincent is an art house goon. I stick to the Gene rack.
Gene? Oh, he's so stupid and mainstream.
Streaming services might seem more convenient, but at what cost?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.